Each sunrise hands you a fundamental choice. Seize command of your inner world, or surrender the reins and let external forces drag you through the hours. It's so tempting to stay buried under the covers, to let the day just happen to you, a passive observer in your own existence. But the reality is stark. Every decision you make in those first waking moments is a seed planted for your entire future. If you fail to direct your own thoughts as consciousness returns, you've already conceded victory to the chaos. Most people stumble out of bed and immediately react to notifications, to headlines, to the endless list of demands. But what if you could flip the script? What if you could wake up and consciously select your mental state, like choosing an outfit for the day? Imagine your mornings transformed into a sanctuary of mental conditioning, a space where you root yourself in purpose, cultivate unshakable discipline, and synchronize your actions with your deepest aspirations. Your morning ritual is the gym where you train your willpower, and like any Stoic, you possess the inherent authority to determine your response to reality, beginning with how you greet the first seconds of awareness. So if you're prepared to seize control of your dawn, and by extension, your destiny, consider subscribing. It's a pledge to your own evolution, your mastery over the mind, and your quest for a life lived with profound intention. Together, we'll unlock the engine of discipline, one morning at a time. Most individuals wake and immediately let the outside world set their rhythm. They instinctively grab for the phone, flood their senses with emails, scroll through the digital noise, and before they've even properly opened their eyes, the day has already swallowed them whole. They've abdicated their sovereignty before they've had a moment to decide who they intend to be. That sense of being overwhelmed is painfully familiar, isn't it? That feeling of merely responding to life instead of actively steering it. But here's the question: does it have to be this way? What if you could reclaim authority, not by waiting for perfect conditions, but by simply making the choice to own the morning? Consider this. What if you dedicated those initial minutes to anchoring yourself in discipline rather than drowning in disorder? What if, instead of reaching for the phone, you reached for something meaningful, a goal, a thought, a breath? Tiny, repeated actions performed every morning accumulate into monumental life shifts. It's like placing a single brick each day. Over time, you've built a fortress. As Marcus Aurelius observed, the quality of your life is directly tied to the quality of your thoughts. Each dawn gives you a fresh opportunity to shape that quality. The power rests with you to decide where your mind travels the instant it stirs. The cornerstone of this transformation rests on one simple decision. Claim the first hour as your own. Visualize using that time to forge a disciplined routine that becomes the bedrock of your entire existence. It's not about flawless execution or dramatic gestures. It's about showing up day after day, honoring the practice that will forge strength, mental clarity, and resilience. You don't need to overturn your whole life overnight. You simply need to decree that the opening moments of your day belong to you. And by doing so, you set the rhythm for your day, your week, your year, and ultimately, your entire life. Think back. How many days have you let slip by without ever having a real say in their direction? How much precious time has been consumed by reacting to emails, scrolling through feeds, answering demands completely outside your control? But when you rise with purpose, when you nurture that small seed of discipline first thing, you establish the foundation for the mindset and habits that will carry you through every subsequent hour, regardless of what storms may come. It's all too easy to get swept away in the current, especially in those fragile first moments of waking. Yet that's precisely where the power of consistency lies. You don't need a life overhaul to see genuine change. It's the daily rituals, the small steps taken with unwavering consistency that lead to profound transformation. These minor actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they compound. It's like strengthening a muscle. Every rep, every push, every tiny act of discipline builds upon the last, until one day you find yourself standing in a strength you never thought possible. In the beginning, it might feel futile, like nothing is moving. But just as Epictetus taught, true wealth isn't about accumulating possessions, but about minimizing wants. Genuine richness comes from knowing your limits, your desires, and consistently honoring them. What truly matters here isn't the grand, distant goal. It's your daily commitment to the process. Every single day you choose discipline over distraction. You are making a conscious declaration that you prioritize what counts. Each morning, when you take even one small step toward your aspirations, you're building momentum that will propel you forward. This isn't about massive victories or overnight transformations. It's about the quiet, relentless consistency that gradually reshapes your entire approach to existence. Building this kind of discipline is challenging, but it's also non-negotiable. The first hour is your kingdom to command. How you spend that time, how you elect to start your morning, determines the entire trajectory of your day. The smallest adjustments, if practiced consistently, will compound into results far beyond your current imagination. Like a tree that grows silently underground before bursting into visible life, the changes born from a disciplined morning routine aren't always immediately visible. But beneath the surface, the roots of your new habits are sinking deeper, anchoring a future you can be proud of. Every action you take in the morning is a vote for the person you want to become. Every decision to resist the impulse to check your phone, to prevent your thoughts from spiraling into chaos, is a quiet victory. It's a silent triumph, but it's the kind of victory that sculpts your life over the long arc of time. So instead of waiting for the mythical perfect Monday, instead of waiting for circumstances to align flawlessly, remember that consistency is the key that unlocks everything. It's the steady, reliable rhythm of your mornings that sets the stage for all else. Just as a sculptor creates a masterpiece through small, precise strikes, you too can carve out the existence you desire through consistent, intentional action. And this begins with seizing your mornings, starting small, committing to these quiet acts of discipline every single day. You begin to construct the mental fortress that will shield you from whatever life throws your way. You won't always be perfect. There will be mornings when it feels impossible. But consistency isn't about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about making the choice to rise and meet your day with the intention to advance, no matter how modest the step. And that's where the authentic power resides. That's the hidden secret to building a life of profound meaning. Before you dive into ambition, before the to-do list starts screaming for attention and pulls you into the vortex of the day, try this. Begin your morning with gratitude. It's a simple practice, yet its impact can be seismic. We often mistake gratitude for a mere emotional reaction, something we feel when life is going well. But it's far more than that. Gratitude is a tool, a potent tool that literally rewires your neural circuitry. It's a mental reset button. Instead of leaping straight into the world's noise, you pause and reflect on what's good, what's already functioning beautifully in your life. Imagine waking and consciously identifying 3 specific things you're grateful for, not the vague default categories like family or health, but real, tangible things that made this moment feel special. Maybe it's the warmth of your blanket, the sensation of your feet touching the floor. Maybe it's the light streaming through your window, or the quiet stillness that only dawn can bring. These small details are so easily overlooked, yet they are precisely the elements that infuse life with meaning. And the more you focus on them, the more you train your mind to recognize the abundance already surrounding you. When you launch your day with gratitude, you're not just listing things you appreciate. You're shifting your brain's default focus from what's absent to what's present. Most of us wake and immediately fixate on everything we need to do, everything we lack, everything that's wrong. Our minds zero in on the gaps. But when you make gratitude your starting point, you dissolve those gaps. You're telling your brain that you are already enough, that in this moment you possess everything you need. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about rewiring your brain to perceive the good that's already there. If you wake and immediately concentrate on what's missing, you initiate the day from a scarcity mindset. But by practicing gratitude, you lay the groundwork for abundance. You train yourself to spot opportunities, to recognize what's functioning, to appreciate the quiet moments, and to inhabit the life you already have. This simple pivot can revolutionize everything. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending perfection. It means choosing to focus on what is good, what is possible, and what is already within your control. Gratitude isn't a fleeting sentiment, it's a practice. And like any practice, it strengthens with repetition. It becomes the lens through which you view the world. It's easy to get trapped in the race for more success, more money, more recognition. But none of those will deliver lasting peace or fulfillment without a foundation of gratitude. Gratitude grounds you. It reminds you that the present moment, the simple act of being alive, is sufficient. You don't need to wait until you've achieved everything to feel worthy. You don't need to compare yourself to others to know your life already holds value. Epictetus reminds us that wealth lies not in vast possessions, but in few wants. This applies beyond material wealth. It's about recognizing that the peace and happiness you seek are already within you. It's about learning to find contentment in what you have, not in what you lack. And when you start your day with gratitude, you embark on your journey from a place of deep enoughness. Gratitude becomes the foundation for all that follows. When you approach the day from abundance, you're far more likely to respond with calm and clarity, no matter what challenges emerge. Life doesn't become perfect, but your ability to navigate it transforms. Instead of reacting from fear or frustration, you begin responding from strength. The more you practice gratitude, the more resilient you become. You learn to see each setback as a lesson, each obstacle as an opportunity for growth. And with that mindset, you stop chasing happiness or waiting for external circumstances to shift. Instead, you realize happiness is a choice, a perspective you cultivate from within. So when you wake tomorrow, take a moment to pause before the world starts demanding your attention. Before the noise tries to drown your peace, breathe and find 3 things to be grateful for. They don't need to be grand, just the small moments, the simple blessings, often overlooked. Maybe it's the birdsong outside, the warmth of your coffee, the comfort of your bed. Maybe it's simply the fact that you woke at all. These moments are your anchors, your reminders that life is good and that no matter what happens next, you already have everything you need. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good, it makes you strong. It gives you rootedness, peace, and purpose. And when you start with gratitude, you start from abundance. From there, anything becomes possible. Words carry immense power, far more than we usually acknowledge. The words we speak to others shape our relationships, our actions, even our futures. But equally important, if not more so, are the words we direct at ourselves. What is the very first thing you tell yourself upon waking? Do you reaffirm your strengths, or do you quietly feed your insecurities? Most of us don't realize how profoundly our internal dialogue sets the day's tone. We wake to a flood of thoughts, and too often those thoughts are saturated with doubt, fear, and negativity. What we fail to see is that we're speaking life into our day, whether that life nurtures growth or stifles it. Imagine starting each day by consciously selecting your words. looking yourself in the mirror and speaking declarations of capability. It doesn't need to be grandiose. Simple statements like, "I am capable," or "I am learning to grow stronger every day," can completely shift your mindset. It's about grounding yourself in truth, not just wishful thinking. When you speak these affirmations, something powerful activates. Your brain begins aligning with these words. It doesn't matter if the day ahead holds challenges or obstacles. What matters is how you choose to meet them. You're not denying the difficulties. You're affirming your ability to confront them with strength, resilience, and confidence. The first words you speak to yourself in the morning can either serve as a foundation for success or plant seeds of self-doubt that will grow throughout the day. When you speak affirmations, you're not just changing how you feel in the moment. You're actively shaping your reality. Carl Jung once noted that life's greatest problems are fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, only outgrown. What Jung points to is that challenges will always exist. They don't disappear. But how you respond to them, how you approach them, determines the quality of your life. Affirmations don't solve your problems, but they prepare you to grow beyond them. They remind you that you are larger than any obstacle and that you possess the strength to rise above whatever the day throws at you. Speaking life into your day also requires awareness of the words you use about yourself. Most of us don't realize how often we speak in terms of limitation. We say things like, "I can't do this," "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never be able to." These thoughts and words don't just live in our minds. They affect our actions and beliefs about what's possible. If you say, "I'm not good enough" enough times, you start to believe it, and that belief shapes your behavior. But what if you started replacing those limiting words with affirmations of capability? What if instead of thinking, "I can't," you chose to say, "I am capable of learning this," or "I will grow through this challenge"? You might not believe it at first, and that's okay. The key is consistency. The more you speak life into your day, the more your brain begins to trust those words. You're not just saying these words for positivity's sake. You're laying the groundwork for a new reality. As you consistently affirm your strengths and your ability to face challenges, your brain reshapes itself. Neuroscience confirms that repeating positive affirmations strengthens neural pathways, creating new patterns of thought and behavior. This is neuroplasticity in action, the brain's ability to reorganize by forming new connections. So every time you speak life into your day, you're actively rewiring your brain to align with your goals. You're not waiting for circumstances to change. You're taking the first step toward changing your mindset. But affirmations alone aren't sufficient. They must be backed by action. If you declare, "I am confident," but never push yourself to take risks or step outside your comfort zone, those words lose their power. Affirmations are meant to be a foundation, but they require action to bring them to life. It's about being intentional with every choice throughout the day. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it's hard, and proving through your actions that you are capable of what you say. When you speak life into your day, you must also follow through with behaviors that align with that declaration. One of the most important things to remember is that this practice doesn't require perfection. You won't always feel confident, and there will be mornings when self-doubt creeps in. But this is where consistency becomes your ally, even on the tough days, even when you don't feel like it. Affirmations work. Most of the fear and doubt we experience is based on what we imagine could happen, not on what actually happens. By speaking life into your day, you shift the narrative. You remind yourself that you are not defined by your fears and that you have the ability to face whatever comes. It's easy to let negative self-talk take over. We've all been there. It's hard to shake moments of doubt or frustration, but that's why starting your day with affirmations is so powerful. It gives you a chance to take control before your mind goes on autopilot. Even if it's just for a few minutes, taking time to speak life into your day sets the tone for everything that follows. As you make this a habit, you'll find your self-talk begins to change. The more you speak positively to yourself, the more those affirmations become part of your natural thinking. It becomes easier to face challenges with confidence and grace. The beauty of this practice is that it's free, it's simple, and it's available to you every single day. You don't need a special occasion to affirm your strengths. You don't need to wait until you feel confident. You simply need to make the choice to speak life into your day. Look in the mirror and say the words that empower you. Choose the mindset you want to carry throughout the day and watch how it transforms your reality. You don't need to wait for perfect circumstances. The time to start is now. Speak life into your day and watch as you reshape the world around you. You can't think your way into a new state. You can't meditate or journal your way out of stagnation. Sometimes the quickest path to change is the simplest one. Move your body. It sounds too easy, right? But here's the truth. Your mind and body are deeply interconnected. When you shift your physical state, you inevitably shift your mental and emotional state as well. It's like hitting a reset button. The moment you get your body moving, something inside you clicks. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit or chasing a personal best. It's about breaking through inertia, through that feeling of being stuck. Movement is momentum, and momentum is what transforms potential energy into action. Whether it's as simple as stretching for 5 minutes or stepping outside for a brisk walk, you're sending a message to your body that you're alive, you're capable, and you're ready to face whatever the day brings. Most people wait for motivation to arrive before they take action. But here's the problem. Motivation doesn't show up until you start moving. You can sit there thinking about what you need to do, trying to mentally push yourself into a new state, but nothing happens until you take that first step. When you move, the rest of your body and mind follow. It's a domino effect. Each small motion signals to your nervous system that it's time to wake up, to engage, to show up. You're not waiting for the perfect moment or the right motivation. You're creating the momentum yourself, and that momentum builds. It builds into energy, focus, and readiness for whatever comes next. You have to act. The change doesn't start in your mind. It starts in your body. You get moving first, and everything else follows. Moving your body in the morning is a powerful way to lay the foundation for your day. It's not about doing it perfectly or achieving a specific result. It's about the simple act of moving. When you take that first step, that first stretch, that first deep breath as you get moving, you send a message to your brain that says, "I'm in control." It's a simple act, but it makes a huge difference. The beauty of morning movement is that it doesn't require you to be extraordinary. It doesn't need to be intense. You don't have to push yourself to exhaustion. What matters is consistency. It could be something as easy as rolling your shoulders, walking around the block, or dancing to a favorite song in your living room. It's not about performance. It's about waking up your body and waking up your potential. When you move, you start to feel the shift. The rush of endorphins kicks in, the dopamine starts flowing, and suddenly you feel awake, energized, and ready. It's not just a physical change, it's an emotional one. The energy you create in the morning carries with you throughout the day. You begin to notice you're more alert, more focused, and more in control. The anxiety that might have weighed you down earlier starts to fade. The physical act of moving your body pushes the mental fog away. And as you step into your day, you're already one step ahead. Already in motion, already primed for success. In fact, the more you move in the morning, the more you train your brain to expect success. That burst of energy doesn't just come from the physical act. It comes from the signals you're sending to yourself. You're telling yourself you're ready to tackle the day with strength and resilience. You're telling yourself you can handle whatever comes. Carl Jung said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." In other words, your actions define you more than your intentions. Moving your body is the physical manifestation of your intention to rise, to improve, to engage with life. Each morning when you choose to move, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you are active, that you are in control. You prove it to yourself with every step, stretch, and breath. It's easy to overlook this simple fact. Your body is the gateway to your mind. You might think your thoughts are the starting point for everything, but the truth is your body holds the key. When you start your day with movement, you awaken both your physical and mental capacity. You're not just getting your blood flowing, you're getting your thoughts flowing too. The mental fog that often comes with waking up doesn't stand a chance when your body is already moving. You break through that inertia, that resistance, and step into the day with a sense of purpose and energy. And let's be clear, moving your body in the morning isn't about punishing yourself for past mistakes or trying to earn your worth. It's about honoring your body for what it is, alive, capable, and full of potential. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. The act of moving is a reminder that you're not just sitting on the sidelines of your own life. You're an active participant, fully engaged in shaping your day, your week, your future. You don't need a perfect body or perfect circumstances to begin. You just need to take that first step. In the end, movement is more than just a physical action. It's a mental and emotional practice that sets the tone for everything that follows. When you move in the morning, you create energy, you create focus, you create a mindset that's ready to take on whatever the day throws your way. It's a simple, powerful act that shifts your state in a way that thinking alone can't. You don't have to wait for motivation or perfect conditions. You can create it right now with every step you take. And once you do, you'll find that the rest of your day falls into place with greater ease. So tomorrow when you wake up, don't wait for motivation to strike. Move. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, you'll be amazed at how much it shifts your mindset and your entire day. The world is full of noise. Everywhere you look, there are distractions, opinions, demands, irrelevant chatter. It's easy to let it all seep in, to let the constant stream of information control your thoughts and shape your day. But before you let any of that noise into your mind, there's a moment, a precious moment, when you have a choice to feed your mind with something purposeful. It's in these first few minutes of the day that you have the power to decide what kind of energy you'll let in. You can choose to start your day by reading a passage from a book that inspires you, by listening to a podcast that challenges your thinking, or by journaling your thoughts and reflecting on your goals. The key is that you're deliberately choosing what to let into your mind. You're not allowing the world to dictate your thoughts. Instead, you're taking ownership of your mental landscape. When you start your day this way, you ground yourself in wisdom, clarity, and purpose. You create a mental environment that serves your growth, not your distractions. The world will always throw noise at you. Emails, social media, news, endless demands. But when you start your day with intention, you create a mental shield. You control your mind before the noise has a chance to hijack it. As Carl Jung wisely said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. To become who you truly are, you must first be intentional about what shapes your mind, your beliefs, and your actions. If you don't feed your mind with purpose, the noise will overwhelm you, and you'll find yourself drifting through the day without direction. But when you fill your mind with intention and clarity, you strengthen your sense of purpose and stay rooted in what truly matters. Think of your mind as a garden. What you plant in the morning will grow throughout the day. If you start your day by planting seeds of inspiration and wisdom, those seeds will sprout into positive thoughts, productive actions, and a sense of direction. But if you start by letting the noise in, if you let the chaos of the outside world dictate your thoughts, you're planting seeds of anxiety, distraction, and confusion. Your garden becomes overrun with weeds, and you find yourself struggling to focus, to be productive, to stay on track. It's the small choices made in the quiet moments of the morning that determine what kind of garden your mind will grow. By choosing to feed your mind with purpose, you're choosing to nurture the growth of ideas, actions, and goals that align with who you truly want to be. This practice doesn't need to be complicated. It could be something as simple as reading a page from a book that inspires you, listening to a motivational podcast on your walk, or taking 10 minutes to reflect on your goals in your journal. The point is that you're choosing something that feeds your mind, not something that simply fills it with noise. When you give yourself that time in the morning, you set the tone for everything that follows. You create a foundation of clarity and focus that will carry you through the day no matter what distractions or challenges come your way. It's like sharpening a tool before you use it. If you don't take the time to sharpen your mind, you'll struggle to get through the day with the precision and effectiveness you need. But when you start your day with purpose, you give yourself the mental clarity and focus that allow you to navigate your tasks with confidence. The world is loud. It's filled with constant distractions, opinions, and demands. But your mind doesn't have to be a reflection of that noise. You have the power to choose what you let in. Every morning is a new opportunity to take control of your mental environment, whether it's reading a chapter from a book that challenges your thinking or taking a few minutes to journal your thoughts. You have the ability to feed your mind with the things that matter. And as you do this consistently, you'll find that the noise of the world doesn't have the same power over you. You begin to filter out the distractions and focus on what truly matters. This practice isn't about shutting out the world entirely. It's about setting the tone for your day. It's about grounding yourself in what is meaningful to you before you let the world pull you in different directions. It's about strengthening your mental resilience so that when the noise does come, you're better equipped to handle it. In the rush of everyday life, it's easy to forget that you have control over your thoughts. But when you start your day by feeding your mind with purpose, you remind yourself that you are the one who gets to decide what's important. You reclaim your power. By feeding your mind with purpose, you're also creating a sense of balance. The world will always try to take more from you, your time, your attention, your energy. But when you feed your mind with intention, you're putting something back into yourself. You're filling your mental well with the resources you need to stay strong, focused, and resilient. Just as you wouldn't expect a plant to grow without the right nutrients, you can't expect to perform at your best if you're not feeding your mind with the right input. You wouldn't expect a garden to thrive on weeds and distractions. Your mind works the same way. And this practice doesn't need to be a long or complicated ritual. It could be as simple as taking 5 minutes to read something that inspires you, or listening to a podcast that shifts your perspective. The key is consistency. The more you practice feeding your mind with purpose, the easier it becomes to maintain clarity throughout the day. Soon, you'll notice a shift. Your thoughts will be sharper, your actions more intentional, and your mind more at peace. You'll be better able to handle whatever the world throws your way because you've already fortified your mind with wisdom, clarity, and purpose before the noise had a chance to take hold. So every morning, take a moment to feed your mind with something purposeful. Choose what you input into your mind with care and make it a priority. You can start small, but the impact of this practice will ripple throughout your day, your week, and your life. The more you feed your mind with purpose, the stronger, clearer, and more resilient you'll become. This is your garden. What you plant today will shape your tomorrow. Choose wisely. Visualization isn't just about imagining your goals or dreaming of a successful future. It's about something much deeper, imagining the person you need to become in order to achieve those goals. We often get lost in fantasizing about the outcome, about what success looks like, about the rewards we'll reap once we've reached the finish line. But true transformation happens not in the outcome, but in the process of becoming the person who already has that success. It's not enough to picture yourself winning. You must picture yourself acting, thinking, and making decisions like someone who has already reached that point. Imagine yourself making wise choices, handling obstacles with confidence, and overcoming challenges with grace. It's in these moments, in these mental rehearsals, that you begin to shape your future self. The act of visualization isn't just a fantasy. It's a powerful tool for uncovering and embodying your true self. It's not about wishing for success or hoping that things will change. It's about mentally preparing yourself to be the person capable of achieving those things. The brain doesn't distinguish between imagined experiences and real experiences. When you visualize yourself in action, your brain activates the same neural pathways that it would if you were actually living those moments. In essence, you're rehearsing your success before it happens. It's not about magical thinking, it's about setting the mental stage for real-world success. The power of visualization lies in its ability to rewire your brain. Every time you picture yourself handling a tough situation with composure, making a decision with clarity, or working through difficulties with resilience, your brain starts to create those neural connections. Over time, these mental rehearsals turn into automatic behaviors. The more you visualize these actions, the more your brain learns to bring them to life. This isn't a one-time practice. It's a daily habit that over time helps you become the person who embodies the traits you admire and aspire to. You stop waiting for the future to arrive, and instead, you start stepping into it. The more you visualize, the more you become that person in real life. Not through some sudden shift, but through small, consistent actions that align with your mental rehearsal. What you're doing here is not simply imagining the success you want. You're creating the blueprint for it. Just like an athlete who practices their moves before stepping onto the field, or a musician who practices their scales before performing, you're preparing yourself for success long before it happens. The brain doesn't just prepare for success by thinking about the end goal. It prepares by building the neural pathways that lead to the necessary actions, habits, and decisions. When you picture yourself acting with discipline, with focus, or with patience, you're not just imagining a future scenario. You're actively creating the mental conditions that will make those traits automatic when the moment comes. Visualization is a tool for becoming your future self right now. It's easy to think of success as something that exists in the future, something you'll reach when the circumstances are right, when the timing aligns. But visualization shows you that the path to success is already within you. You just need to embody it. Every time you visualize, you're stepping into the role of the person who is already successful. You're preparing your mind and body to make the decisions, take the actions, and approach the world in the way that person would. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent mental practice, you'll notice subtle changes in your behavior. You'll find yourself handling challenges with more confidence, making decisions with greater clarity, and responding to setbacks with resilience. It's as if your mind has already set the course, and your actions begin to follow. The beauty of visualization is that it gives you the chance to practice without any external pressure. You don't need a real-life scenario to begin embodying the traits of your future self. You can do this every morning in the quiet of your own mind. Take a few minutes to close your eyes and picture yourself succeeding. See yourself in the situations you'll face, making decisions, overcoming obstacles, and handling stress. Notice how it feels to approach each moment with calm and confidence. These mental images aren't just fleeting thoughts. They are powerful training for your subconscious mind. Your brain absorbs them as real experiences, and over time, it starts to act accordingly. This isn't to say that visualization alone will get you to where you want to go. It's not a magic bullet or a shortcut, but it's a critical piece of the puzzle. Visualization primes your mind, helping you become the person who can meet the challenges ahead. It's the mental foundation on which your actions will be built. When you visualize success, you're not just picturing the end result. You're picturing yourself making the decisions, navigating the challenges, and showing up in ways that will lead you there. It's like planting seeds in the soil of your mind. And with each mental rehearsal, those seeds begin to sprout into real-world behaviors. As you move through life, you'll begin to notice how your thoughts and actions align more with the person you've been visualizing. This is the true power of the practice. It aligns your inner world with your outer reality. And soon enough, your brain will begin to operate on autopilot, guiding you toward the outcomes you've envisioned. This process isn't about forcing yourself to be someone you're not. It's about uncovering the person you've always been capable of becoming. Visualization is a tool for personal growth. It isn't just about imagining success. It's about preparing to be the kind of person who can make that success a reality. The more you visualize, the more you act, and the more you become. Your future self isn't some distant figure waiting to emerge. That person exists inside of you right now. All it takes is the mental preparation to bring them to life. Visualizing who you want to become today sets the foundation for who you will be tomorrow. It's time to start seeing yourself as the person you want to become. Start rehearsing your success and watch it unfold before you. In today's world, stillness is becoming a rare commodity. Everywhere you look, there's noise, external and internal. The constant buzz of social media, the never-ending demands of work, the pressure to keep moving, to keep achieving. It's easy to get swept up in it all, to let the chaos take over. But in the midst of all this noise, there's a power that's often overlooked: silence. It's in those moments of quiet that you find your true center. By carving out just a few minutes each morning to sit in silence, you give yourself the gift of presence. It's not about meditating just for the sake of meditation. It's not about sitting still because you're told to. It's about creating a space for your inner voice to emerge, a space where your thoughts, your wisdom, and your truth can finally be heard. In a world that's always shouting, it's the silence that brings clarity. When you take the time to be still, you allow yourself to step outside of the chaos, even if it's just for a few moments. Those moments of silence become a sanctuary, a place where you can reconnect with who you truly are. Your mind is constantly bombarded with outside influences, opinions, expectations, judgments. But in the stillness, you can hear your own voice above the noise. You can hear the subtle whispers of your own thoughts and wisdom. This practice isn't about escaping from the world. It's about grounding yourself so that you can better face the world. As the philosopher Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So much of our stress and anxiety comes from the noise in our minds, from the worries and distractions that pull us in a million directions. But when we sit in silence, we give ourselves the opportunity to quiet those distractions and reconnect with what's real and true. Even if you only sit in silence for 5 minutes, the impact on your mind can be profound. It's not about the length of time. It's about the intention behind it. Those 5 minutes allow you to recalibrate, to reset your mental state before the world demands anything of you. It's a way of reclaiming control over your thoughts and emotions. In that moment of stillness, you create the space to breathe, to reflect, and to prepare yourself for what lies ahead. You may not realize it, but when you start your day with silence, you set a foundation of clarity and calm. You start the day with your mind centered rather than scattered. This simple practice can help you approach your day with more focus, more peace, and more resilience. The power of silence isn't just about taking a break from the noise. It's about giving yourself permission to reconnect with your core, with your true self. In the quiet, you allow your inner wisdom to surface. You allow your thoughts to be heard, without the constant pressure to react or respond. In a world that's always pushing, always demanding, silence becomes a way to pause and reflect. It's a chance to find clarity in the midst of confusion, to make sense of the noise that often drowns out our true intentions. Without this quiet time, we risk losing touch with ourselves, getting lost in the hustle, and forgetting what truly matters. We live in a world that celebrates constant activity, constant doing, but the reality is that doing, without being still, first often leads to burnout and overwhelm. The constant rush to achieve, to move, to act, can leave us feeling drained and disconnected from our own purpose. Silence, however, allows us to step back and evaluate. It helps us remember who we are and what we want beyond the noise and distractions of everyday life. When we make space for silence, we give ourselves the opportunity to reconnect with our values, our goals, and our intentions. But here's the thing, it's easy to think that silence will feel uncomfortable or that it's a waste of time. Our minds are so used to being in constant motion, always processing information, always solving problems. But true peace comes from the ability to be still, to simply be. When you make space for silence in your morning routine, you're not being lazy or unproductive. You're giving your mind the rest it needs to function at its best. Just like physical rest allows your body to recover and grow stronger, mental rest, in the form of silence, allows your mind to recover and sharpen itself. In those moments of stillness, you may start to notice things you haven't before. Your thoughts become clearer, your mind sharper, and you gain a deeper understanding of your true self. You might find that you're more in tune with your emotions, more aware of your goals, and more present in your daily interactions. It's in this silence that you begin to hear the answers to the questions that have been floating around in your mind. Instead of running from the discomfort of stillness, you start to embrace it, knowing that in this space, you find clarity. This practice of silence doesn't have to be long or complicated. It could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, sitting quietly for a few minutes, or even going for a walk in nature without any distractions. The goal isn't to force yourself into a state of complete mental blankness. It's to give yourself permission to pause and let your thoughts settle, to stop chasing the next task and instead focus on simply being present. The benefits of this practice will extend far beyond the 5 minutes you spend in silence. As you make this a regular part of your routine, you'll find that the clarity and calmness it brings will spill over into every other part of your life. In a world that constantly pulls at us, silence becomes an act of rebellion, a way to reclaim your peace and your power. It's the one space where you get to decide what enters your mind and what stays out. It's where you reconnect with yourself, where you gather the strength to face the challenges ahead. As the philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. In the stillness, you confront what matters, and you realize that the answers you seek are already within you. So tomorrow morning, before the noise of the world takes over, make space for silence. Sit with yourself for just a few minutes and see what clarity unfolds. The world may be loud, but in that quiet moment, you'll find everything you need to face the day with strength and purpose. Remember, the world will always be loud, but in the silence, you'll find your strength. It's in those quiet moments that you reconnect with your true self, and it's from that place of stillness that you'll rise to meet the world with clarity and purpose. So make space for silence every day. It's where your real power lies. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to hit that like button and join our community here on Stoic Mindset Mastery, where we embrace the wisdom of stillness and the power of self-discovery. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out one of the videos on the screen now to continue your journey toward personal growth. Thank you for being here.